Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in this segment of the morning show is DNR Conservation Police Captain John Williamson. Good morning, Captain. How are you?
Good. How are you, Seth?
I'm all right. How's spring treating you?
Good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Ready for baseball?
Ready for baseball. You got it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What do you think about the Cubs this
I'm
year?
excited about them.
Yeah. Got Bellinger for a song.
Yep.
Jiminy Christmas.
Get him back. And
Yeah. Now you
got some more pitching, and they were as good as they were last year. Hopefully, they can continue that this year.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, John, it's right around the corner. I can't believe it. High school starts next week and all that good stuff. So, anyways, John, I was out at Weldon Springs over the weekend and noticed that you all had done some controlled burning in the woods areas. What's going on there?
Yeah, a lot of places they're burning. You know, I spoke to Charlie Montgomery, who's the site superintendent, about it. You know, there's a lot of those areas where they took a lot of woody species out for the last few years, and they're having to burn every year to try to keep those woody species down. You know, usually it'll go like on a 2 or 3 year plan, but because there's a lot of woody species in there, they're having to burn them every year, and they had the right weather, so they got it done.
You know me. I'm not one for intelligent questions when it comes to this conversation. What's a woody species?
So they went in there and they hydroaxed a bunch of those areas. They cleaned out a bunch, brush hog, sprayed a bunch of those areas that had autumn olive, different types of trees coming up that are invasive that we don't want. Mm-hmm. So they had to go in there and make sure and mow those. Now they're trying to control them by fire. So woody species being your trees, your smaller trees coming up.
Got it. That helps.
There you go.
That helps. So it felt like, at least the areas I was in, it really cleared it out a lot in terms of there's a lot you can see a lot farther, up the trails and through the grasses and everything. Is that, I'm sure that's a natural
thing. And see, at this time of year, that grass is still dead. It hasn't come back green yet. And what this does is it takes out all the grass, and helps get those invasive species out and start bringing back some of the more of the big stem and all the good grasses they want. Right. So, and it really adds some fertilizer to the soil by burning them and getting it into the soil. So
yeah,
that's what I was
going to go next. Is this is a process that not only keeps those invasive species out, it's good for the other forms of life in that area.
Absolutely. We get a couple rains, a little warm weather, and that's going to green right up and look really, really good.
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to it. So,
yeah.
All right. Now, when it comes to that process, do you shut? I was on that barn trail, the farmhouse, whatever that is.
Right.
Do you shut down that trail while you do that? And
yeah.
What's that process look like?
So we've got. That's why probably when you were out there, if you saw it while they were burning, there was probably 4 or 5 UTVs out there with water on the back, ready to. If the fire started to get out.
See,
of
no,
control,
I came in afterwards.
Afterwards.
It was already cleared out.
Okay.
So
they'll have 4 or 5 guys out there and try to back burn, or they'll take a tractor around and cut an area to where there's a fire break, so we don't catch everything on fire all at once, that sort of thing. But those guys will be out there. They'll make sure to get everybody off the trails and let them know that, hey, we're burning today, that sort of thing. Get the fire started and go from there.
Now, I don't want to incriminate myself by saying too much, but I have been a part of an informal controlled burn before.
There's nothing. You're not incriminating yourself. You're all good. You can do that.
That's fun. Actually, it's fun because it doesn't get out of control, and it's cool because you see the dead stuff and the right. stuff that hasn't grown yet. You watch that go away, but then the stuff that's green stays.
Right.
It doesn't burn.
They'll burn around it.
Yeah, that's what's so cool.
Yeah,
I think
that's what's so nice about it. And you're not using chemicals. You're not wasting a bunch of fuel, all that sort of thing. That if you can get the right conditions and use it, then controlled burns will work. But if you're going to do it on private property, just make sure you call the fire department first, so you don't get them excited and get fire departments wound up. So call your local fire department. Make sure they know. Give them the area where you're doing a controlled burn.
Well, see, we didn't do that.
Yeah. Well, and did the fire department show up?
No.
Okay, you're lucky.
See, we knew what we were doing, though. Well, hold on a second. I had absolutely no idea what we were doing. My friend I was with, he knew all about it. He knew what was going on.
Yeah.
So anyway.
But you're required to call. Just make sure you call first. That way they'll know what's going on. They don't send firemen out there and take away from services.
Right, yeah.
if something else could happen.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Now, were the conditions right here this weekend, or
the
lately?
conditions were right. Now, there was one day they said they didn't want any open burns. What day was that? Was it Monday?
No, I think that was like
west?
Wednesday.
Maybe it was Wednesday. They said no.
Tuesday or
because
Wednesday.
Everything was so dry that they were worried about some fires getting out of control. And in fact, over the weekend on, was it Saturday? I was up in Iroquois County, and one of the buddies I was with the fire department, and they had a couple controlled burns that get out of hand up there and get to places they weren't supposed to.
Yeah,
so those you got to be worried. You got to be careful. That's why you got enough people there, have water readily available, all that sort of stuff to do it right.
So what do you want for conditions? Like what are conditions that are right?
I'm not. I don't. We as conservation officers, we help out, but won't lead it up. But I know there's a certain humidity they like to see, in this time of year that they get to. They don't want to be too dry because they can take off and get too much wind can take off and get to. But if it's damp, wet, then it just won't burn.
Will there be more of those to come?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Up until. Is it April 15th they can burn till? Again, I'm not sure of the dates. I don't do them myself.
We'll see more of that at Weldon Springs, though, still this spring.
Yeah, I don't know how much they got burned.
Okay.
They could have got burned everything they needed to. I don't know.
Gotcha. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, John, as we talk about, of course, kind of local things going on, it's been so nice lately. The spring has been really great. I bet you've seen a ton of, fishermen, boats on the lake. What do you got going on out there?
Yeah, it's when you have good weather, everybody's out. Yesterday would have been a great day except for 20-some mile-an-hour winds kept people off the water quite a bit, but there were still people around the parks, that sort of thing. So this time of year, you have good weather, you've got people out enjoying.
Do you see and maybe yesterday wasn't a great day for it because it was still a touch cool, but do you see like sailing or anything when it's super windy out there? Anything like that?
When you get decent wind, yeah, you'll see them out there. Yesterday was a little too much wind for probably most sailors. When it gets over 20 miles an hour, that's making it pretty tough conditions out in parts of the lake.
Didn't know that. I thought it would be ideal. Like you want to go fast, you want to move
around.
You
want to, but then there's also when you get 20 mile an hour winds, there's also 3-4 foot waves you got to deal with when you're doing that too. So
interesting, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that would be fun to see on Clinton Lake. I mean, I wouldn't want to deal with it, but it'd be like, oh, hey, look, that's
I'll
cool.
put you in the front of my boat. You might want to make sure you wear your rain gear because we're going to get wet.
No, sir. No, sir.
Right.
But that sounds good. John Williamson, DNR Conservation Police Captain, our guest in studio. So with that said, what are some things we need to keep in mind as we get out for, whether it's fishing, maybe just a day on the boat. You may not get in the water, but you want to enjoy the nice weather. How about some of that?
Yeah, I mean, boating-wise, just make sure we've got our safety equipment. Make sure you've got a sober boater. That's what we always ask for when you're on the water. And this time of year, make sure your registration's good. Check everything out. Another thing we'll see is this time of year, the people pulling their boats out the first time is their trailers aren't ready. So they'll have problems with their bearings, stuff like that. So get them checked out, get those motors checked out before you get to the ramp and enjoy a day.
What are some of the common first time getting the boat out for the season issues you come across?
Motors won't run right, bad fuel, things like that are what we see. So people will get out there and get stranded and then call us for looking for a tow to try to get back to a dock or find somebody out on the water to get to a dock.
Yeah, yeah. Are you able to help with a lot of those things?
We try to as much as we can, but we can't be there all the time. So, hopefully they get a new vendor out at the lake at the marina and they have a tow boat so they can kind of take care of that. It costs some money, but at least there's somebody there to help people.
Yeah, for sure. So speaks to why you want to get that boat checked before you jump out for the first time. Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely. In terms of fishing regulations, things like that, anything to keep in mind, whether it's Clinton Lake, I know Weldon Springs, I've seen a ton of fishermen over there.
Yeah,
How about that?
Yeah. So Clinton Lake, we've still got the crappie limit that was changed last year. It's still in effect. So it's still a 15 fish limit, 5 under 10 and 10 over 10. So it'll still a limit of 15. Other than that, pretty much the same rules and regs as been past few years.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I go back to probably Clinton Lake, Weldon Springs, really busy this time of the year. What are crowds like right now?
Yeah, it's just like I say, it's all weather dependent. You get good weather, you're going to get big crowds.
Yeah.
Bad weather, and it's like a ghost town.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was out there. I think that was Saturday. I took the dogs out, and golly, that that trail was so many people. Like I've never seen that many cars on that trail
Right.
before. So
Yep.
and we ran across probably 10 people. So yeah, that was
Yeah,
good to see
and,
you.
and this time of year, a lot of times what will keep people off some of those trails is mud, and it's been a little drier,
Yes.
so the wind's kind of dried it out. People are actually able to use some of those trails that a lot of times they don't use in the spring.
That's
'cause it's
true.
just so muddy.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point you bring up there as well. Very good, John. Anything else on our local parks, Clinton Lake, Weldon Springs? We haven't touched on. You want to
Over
put out
at
there?
Weldon Springs, we're going to have the trout season come up April 6th.
Yeah, let's dive
that's
into that
kinda-
real
That's
fast.
kind of popular.
Sure.
So April 6th, the trout season opens. You can make sure you have your inland trout stamp. Keep 5 a day, and catchable trout are released and opens up. I think it's at 5 a.m., but check the signs, make sure what time it opens up. But that's always a good time and really popular around Weldon Springs.
Tell me about that program. What goes on with that?
So basically, a week or two before they come in and they release catchable size trout, and then the lakes close down until the lake opens for the trout season, and you're able to fish for trout, which is something you don't usually get to do in the state of Illinois. But they pick out, I don't know, 20 or 30 areas in the state and do this, and that money is those trout are paid for by the money that people buying their inland trout stamps. So
Where do you get that at?
you can get it any vendor you get your license from.
Okay.
So get that. You can get it online also. So get that license stamp, and then you're good to go.
Begs the question: that fishing license, is it coming due?
Yep, April 1st, you'll need your new fishing license. So a new fishing license and your trout stamp, and you're good to trout fish.
Now, when is trout season open?
April 6th.
Okay, so put that on the radar. That's coming up right around the corner. When it comes to those regulations, are your guys out there kind of closely monitoring that, since it is?
Yes, we are. Yeah, because that's a special thing that goes on, and people are paying extra money for that. So yeah, we want to closely monitor that, make sure people have their stamps, make sure people are keeping the right, or keeping too many fish, that sort of thing. But in that springtime, that's right when the crappie spawn is. So we're kind of shifting our parks are getting busy, so we're kind of shifted around, but we do try to keep an eye on the trout ponds.
Yeah. Will all the trout get taken?
No.
No.
Nope.
So you may once this time period comes and goes, like you may still you may be fishing this winter and finding trout.
Absolutely. So Weldon Springs has a spring trout season and a fall trout season. So their fall trout season, they release those. And when we do have ice, which this year we didn't have too much, there's a lot of guys that are catching a lot of trout through the ice because of the fall release up there. So
Yeah. So what would you say the trout population is like in the Weldon Springs area?
I've heard the fisheries biologists say that there's quite a few trout in there. I don't know how many exactly, but I know sometimes during the winter when they're on the ice, they're hard to catch anything else but trout. So.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So you said they restock and the thing closes down for a few weeks. Why?
It closes down for like a week, just because
A week.
those trout are put in there. They let them get used to the lake, let them disperse around the lake, and then they open up trout season.
Okay. Gotcha. Will the trout that are there? These are really stupid questions. I feel like. Will the trout that are there? Will they reproduce?
No.
No.
They will not reproduce.
Why?
They just won't. And when that water warms up enough, a lot of those trout are going to die because trout are a cold water species. Now, being at Weldon Springs, I'm sure some of those will be down in that cooler water wherever the spring's coming up and hopefully can survive over the summertime, that sort of thing. But some of those will die because that water temperature gets too great.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. How about that? I didn't know that. I'm learning a lot today, John.
You are.
I always learn something from you.
There you go.
And you're going to leave me in August.
Yep.
What are you going to do for monthly entertainment once you can't come back here?
I'm going to have to figure out a way to you call me in for something else.
Yeah. Or you could just come do ball games with Ray and I.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
I could get my stupid questions out then. John, no, in all seriousness, though, did I miss anything on the trout season we should
No,
talk
I think
about?
we're good.
All right. Again, the dates that folks need to know, those licenses and everything. How about
By
that?
April 1st, you're going to need to have your new license, and April 6th is the opener of the trout season.
Very good. John Williamson, DNR Conservation Police Captain, my guest in studio. More to come with John on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans, and wheat all trading higher at this hour. March corn up 6, 4.18 and a quarter. May corn up 6, 430 3/4. December new crop 463 up 3 3/4. March beans 1154.5 up 11.5. May beans up 11.5, 1162 3/4. November new crop 1147.5 up 7 3/4. March Chicago wheat 564 up 4. July wheat up 6 1/4, 567.5. March bean meal 337.70 up 370. March bean oil 44.85 up 23 cents. Livestock market, March feeders 251.65 down to $1.32. April live cattle 188.12 down 32 cents. April lean hogs 87.27 down 80 cents. Energy market at this hour. April crude oil 79.46 down 51 cents. Jim Taylor, RFD.
Hi, this is Republican Regan Deering. I'm running to fight for your family and mine. Our kids deserve to grow up in a free and prosperous Illinois, so I won't surrender our state to extreme Democrats. I've sued Governor Pritzker over his unconstitutional mandates, and I'm ready to tackle high taxes and inflation and fight the radical open border policies threatening our communities. I'll fight for you in Springfield, but first, I'm asking for your vote. On March 19th, vote Regan Deering for state representative, paid for by Regan for Illinois.
Allergy season is here, and our Warner Hospital and Health Services walk-in clinic inside our family medicine is here to help. No appointment, no problem. Find out more by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
For the latest in Central Illinois agricultural news, visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com. Get updated information on markets, weather, ag news, local interviews with NAFB farm broadcaster Jared White, and much, much more. All at IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today, John Williamson, DNR Conservation Police Captain. John, let's talk about, I think turkey season is in right now. Is that right?
Not yet, but
Okay.
coming up.
Okay. What do we need
Coming
to
up.
know about turkey season?
So turkey season, probably the biggest thing we have around turkey season that we have the issues is around the lake and mixed with mushroom hunters. So the turkey season is from April 15th to May 16th. That's the main part of the turkey season. You've got the U season, March 30th and 31st, and April 6th and 7th. Any of those dates, you can't be on any of the Clinton Lake ground that's open for turkey hunting until after 1 p.m. And we always have problems with that every year. We try to get this message out, but those guys have turkey tags, and they can hunt till 1 p.m. And it's their area until 1 p.m. So people have to stay off of it. But
Okay.
like the North Fork Trail is probably one of the ones it's the worst that we have an issue with that.
So you have issues with mushroom hunters.
Correct. Mushroom hunters coming in before 1 p.m. Guys are trying to turkey hunt, and then they've got joggers and bikers and walkers all over the trails, that sort of stuff. So it's just always an issue. So you got to see, if you're mushroom hunting, you got to stay out until after 1 p.m.
Or if you're a jogger walker, stay out till 1 p.m.
Stay out till 1 p.m. You
okay.
bet.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right, so keep that in mind with turkey hunting season. By the way, is that like an issue in other places?
Oh yeah, it's all around the state. Any of our state properties, even the federal properties, have picked up our rule where everybody has to stay out until 1 p.m.
Okay, gotcha. So
Yep.
with the mushroom hunting, when does that kind of pick up hot and heavy?
It just depends when the weather gets right. We've had warmer weather, so I think it's going to pick up earlier. Last year, it was 2 or 3 weeks into the turkey season before the mushrooms started popping, so we didn't have as much issue with it. Early in the season was towards the end of the turkey season, so it just depends on the year. But I have a feeling that as turkey season opens up, the mushrooms are going to be out.
Yeah. So tell me about the mushroom hunting process. So is Clinton Lake like a really good spot for that?
It's a pretty good spot. Yeah, there's guys that come from quite a ways around to go walk around those areas.
Yeah. Now, will they how many? Can you take a certain amount? Can you?
Nope. Whatever you can find in Clinton Lake, and that's the other thing you need to check with. So if you're going to go to our state property, check to see if it's open, because it depends how the property is classified. So if it's a nature preserve, those areas are closed. You can't take any wildlife, fauna, anything out of those. Clinton Lake being the way it is, you can mushroom hunt there. So that's just fine.
Gotcha.
And this time of year, there's all different mushrooms. There's fall mushrooms, different things. But what people are looking for in the spring are the morel mushrooms. So those are the ones they're looking for, and that's what kind of comes up this time of year and creates the issue with the turkey hunters.
So what's like good conditions for good morel mushroom hunting?
Get those temperatures. I think where the nights stay in the 50s, like last night did, but the ground was probably still too cold. But at least in the 50s, little rain, little humidity. If it dries out too much, they won't come up. Different things. So it's just they're really particular about when and how they come up. But once they get the right weather, they'll really pop.
When does turkey hunting start?
April 16th.
Gotcha. What do we need to know about turkey hunting?
Turkey hunting. What colors do you not wear when you turkey hunt?
Red, white, and blue, right?
Why?
Because that's like all a turkey can see, right?
No. If
Why?
they can see, that's fine. That's the color of a male turkey's head when he's gobbling and everything else. He gets red, white, and blue colors to him. So you don't be wearing those so you get shot. So those are the colors you want to avoid.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
There we go.
I
You had the
gotcha.
colors, but you couldn't remember.
No, I couldn't remember
Man.
why. Well, hey,
I thought I had you learn.
Well, hey, we're making progress.
Okay, we
John.
are. We are making progress.
At least I
We are
got the
making
first part of the
progress.
question right.
Yep.
Quiz me next month, and we'll see how we do then.
Gotcha.
With turkey hunting, what are the limits on that?
One per tag, with a maximum of 3 during the spring. So you need to get a tag for the county that you want to hunt, or like site area. So Clinton Lake has its own special tags just for that site.
Gotcha. I've got a minute, John. Did I miss anything on those two things you want to touch on?
No, I think we're good on those.
What did I miss? There was something else we were going to get to, and I'm blanking. We did mushroom hunting. We did turkey season. Was there something else we were going to get to?
I don't remember.
I can't remember either. Anyways, where do folks go for all things like DNR regulations and all that?
IDNR.illinois.gov. It'll have all your information. It'll have phone numbers for the local officers. It will have where you can purchase your license online, apply for permits. Everything's there.
Will it have site-specific regulations there, like
Yes,
Clinton
it will.
Lake,
Yep,
Weldon?
it'll have all your regulations for all your sites.
Gotcha. Very good. So put that on the bookmarks of the of your browser. Very good, John. Anything going to keep you busy in the next month? Anything coming up for you?
You know what? I'm behind a desk. I push a lot of papers, but yeah, we're going to be busy getting things ready and getting everything ready for a busy summer.
Yep, no doubt. Looking forward to it. Spring could be coming early this year, it sounds like. So
Looks like it.
Yep, could be on the way for a busy season for folks at DNR. Very good, John. Always good to talk to you, my friend. John Williamson, DNR Conservation Police Captain, our guest in studio. Network news on the way on the morning show.